Very warm, very soothing, not super exciting, but hello and welcome to Tea with the OT, the very first episode of this channel. I am so excited to bring this channel and my ideas to a new format. I am Becca Mattie, the host and the owner of Honeybee OT. I have been an occupational therapist for about 5 years now, and I'm looking forward to just sharing my thoughts about the field, as well as sharing my very uneducated opinion on tea. So let's dive in. For the tea today, I'm going to be drinking Yogi Honey Lavender Stress Relief. I chose this one because of the name. I love a tea that tells me exactly what it's supposed to be doing. And this one, I am feeling quite stressed about starting this channel and filming my first video. So I figured, why not relieve a little stress? So I have my water boiled. I have the tea ready to go in my mug. So let's go ahead and pour it in. And on the box, it recommends we steep it for about 7 minutes. While the tea steeps, I'm going to jump into our topic for the day related to occupational therapy. Because this is our first episode on the channel, I am going to start off by just telling you guys about occupational therapy, what it is, and how I found it in my journey, how I found occupational therapy. Because before probably my senior year of college, I didn't even know occupational therapy existed, let alone what all the different facets of the profession held. So occupational therapy is the practice of helping people do the things that are important to them, the things that occupy their time, hence the word occupation. Now, the beautiful part of occupational therapy, at least what I think is beautiful, is that the task that my clients want to be able to do is a means and an ends to the therapy. So what that means is, if getting to the table to eat dinner with your family is your goal for the end of therapy, we're going to practice that exact thing, and we're going to break it down into little bits and figure out what part of that task is the most challenging so we can work there. So the part that I love about being the therapist is that I get to break down each of those tasks into their little bits and pieces, and then sit with my clients and figure out and problem solve, okay, is getting to the table hard? Is walking hard? Is sitting still for a long time difficult? Is the meal itself challenging? So that's the part that I really love and that I was drawn to. To give a little bit more background, I am a pediatric occupational therapist. So contrary to many of the jokes that I hear, I do not help children get jobs. I help them do what is their most important job, which is learn, play, and grow. And so along that journey of development, kids may run into obstacles that become more challenging for them. And then I can come in and help the family work through those challenges and reach their goals. So I do a lot of work in the area of sensory integration and sensory processing. That's a really big passion of mine. I also do a lot of work in emotional regulation and behavioral regulation. It's a pretty tricky space to be, because we always are trying to figure out, okay, what's the missing piece? What are they trying to communicate with us when they have this behavior? Because all behavior is communication. But we'll dive into that in a different episode. So today I just wanted to give it some more background on how I found occupational therapy. Let's see how much time we've got left here. I didn't even check the time. So let's give her a few more minutes and then we'll try the tea. So I got into occupational therapy, like I said, my senior year of college. I had been exploring a lot of different career paths, including engineering and pre-med and neurobiology, and they just weren't panning out for me for one reason or another. And then I found physical therapy, and I began shadowing some physical therapists, and I really enjoyed the one-on-one time that they get with the kids and the amount of time that they get to build rapport and relationships, and that aspect of the therapy realm really attracted me. I realized I wasn't so much sparked by the medical side of it, the medical, like really rigorous, like, muscle movement and anatomy and all of that. But what I was sparked by was my job in a clinic for kids with autism. That job was more entry level after some training, and I was working with these kids one-on-one on very specific goals that were set by senior therapists, and they were very functional goals. They were related to play, they were related to peer relationships, and the idea of having that function and that important part of their life tied into the therapy that we were doing is what really attracted me. So I did some more digging and finally came across OT, I think in like a Wikipedia page or something along those lines. And I started doing some shadowing, and then I found my spark. So the problem solving, the relationship building, and the goal setting are three big areas that were really attractive to me for this field. And I will say, it took me a long time because I don't consider myself like a very career-driven person. So I was excited to find the career that did light me up when I discovered occupational therapy. So with all that being said, what do I tell people when they're like, when do you know if you need occupational therapy for your child? I always say, seek support from a therapist when there's something that you're not doing in your life because of an obstacle or challenge that is related to your child. So is it becoming such an obstacle for them to just put their shoes on to get out the door that you've stopped leaving the house for the most part during the week that isn't like a necessary leave? Or is it so challenging for them to be in a crowded area or at a park that you've stopped doing that altogether? Your whole family has stopped doing that. So once a challenge has become such a big obstacle that it has taken away from your guys' ability, your family's ability to engage in the occupations that are important to you as a family, that's when you want to seek a therapist to help you kind of manage that obstacle and see how we can adapt it, or we can look for modifications to make it easier for you as a family to then engage in those occupations that you want to be able to do every day or every week, whatever it might be. So that is the overarching idea of what is occupational therapy, what about it really lights me up, and how creating this channel to reach more people like you has become, my next step on my journey as an occupational therapist. So I'm so happy you guys are here. All right. I believe it has been plenty of time, probably about 7 minutes, if not a little bit more, because I do like to ramble on. Let's go ahead and take my little steeping cover off. It's very hot. And give this tea a try. Like I said, every episode I will be trying a new tea and sharing my uneducated opinion with you all on this tea and how I feel about it. So let's give it a sip. Okay. It's a little boring. It's got some flowery flavor in there, which makes sense with the lavender. I would probably add a little bit more honey. It's still pretty hot, so I don't want to slurp it in your ear. But let's not write it off right just yet. very warm, very soothing, not super exciting. So a nice, calm, unassuming tea is exactly what my system needs when it's time to relieve some stress. So that's everything for this first episode of Tea with the OT. I'm so glad you guys were here and joined me today. I look forward to creating more episodes, and please let me know in the comments or shoot me a message of what topics related to occupational therapy that you are interested in. Pediatrics are my field of expertise, but I'm definitely willing to explore some new areas. My goal with this channel is to just become a resource, another resource for families, educators, therapists, whoever is seeking just some more information related to occupational therapy, and maybe some tea recommendations. I don't know. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.